Right then, folks, time to get our last race of the weekend underway. It is, of course, KZ2 and KZ2 Masters. Here's your starting grid. I know there's been quite a few people that have been waiting for certain drivers to race. So here we go. It's KZ2 and KZ2 Masters, the Champions Winter Trophy final. Kevin Stahoa and Jens Troyer on the front row. It is, I've had an amendment. It is going to be apparently Arthur LeHouk and Charlie Turner on row 2, Jeffrey Fixer and Daniel Tenbach row 3, Tom Bracken and Sam van Verskeulen rounding out the top 4 rows, Lorenzo Alibaks and Jarno Opmeer, Mercedes AMG Works F1 Esports driver, starts 10th. Siep Kuipers, Armin Piela, Dion van Verven, Thierry Del Rey, Christian de Klein, Enzo Bol, Derek van Zilfthout, Gil Mertens, Mark Verhoeven, Nina Pothoff rounding out the top 20. As we have got one kart off, that's the 804 of Dirk van Zilfthout, so 24 on the grid. I think there were problems for William Klooster, who starts last. Mark Verhoeven and Nina Pothoff round out the top 20. Luni de Bruyke, Mickey Bertram, Cedric Collars and Dan Zopfi round out the remainder of the 25-strong grid, apart from the names that I've just mentioned. So, So 14 minutes on the timer. It is winner take all. The points have only helped the drivers to get to this stage of the competition, where it is, as I said, winner take all. Bram Ostavada, good to have you back with us, aka Red Actions. Good to see your other half, actually, Vitska Visser, the younger sister of Beiska Visser, on the saying hello on the stream. I clocked it and I completely forgot to mention it. But the drivers now make their way onto the start-finish straight. KZ2. Action. It's full throttle, it's standing start, it's aggressive, it's dynamic, and it's entertaining. First 2 rows have lined up. Now row 3, row 4, and row 5. Over half the grid now assembled in their grid positions. One of the team with the red flag in the hands. Once the green flag waves at the back, we'll be under starters' orders. Green flag waves. Lights are on. Lights are out. Here we go for the final for KZ2 and KZ2 Masters. And great start from Stahoa as he gets through into the lead into turn 1. LeHouk now up into P2 from 3rd. Oh, problems there for one of the Maranello chassis karts and has come into the path of possibly Tom Bracken in the 818, running in the Team Belgium race suit on the SP Motorsport KZ2 entry, the 818. Drivers now making their way through into turn 8. And we have at least 4 drivers at the front end of the field at the moment. It's Stahoa leading LeHouk. Then we've also got Troyer, and that's Charlie Turner in 4th. And in the superheat that Leon, he actually got hit, and that meant he had a 180 right through this corner at turn 12. And now LeHouk goes for the lead up the inside, but Stahoa was quickly wise to it. Oh, LeHouk just barges his way through, forces Stahoa wide. Troyer now tries to get through on the inside of turn 3. And that has really put the cat amongst the proverbial pigeons. Otmir up from 10th to 7th. We've got Siep Kuipers in 6th. So this is going to be very, very close indeed. This is a winner-take-all. Who's going to book their place on the Dutch KZ National Championship that starts in 2 weeks' time? There's multiple drivers that have the capability of doing so. Arthur Lehoek has the fastest lap of the race, 58.752 seconds. There's now, oh dearie me, there was a little bit of contact between two drivers, one of which was a CRG, the other one was a Maranello chassis. I think it might have been that, I'm not sure, it could have been possibly Jeffrey Fixer going into the side of somebody else, might have been Jarno Otmir. So the drivers now making their way down the Europe line once again, and Lehoek has got a lead, and he's starting to pull away from Kevin Stehoer, who was on pole position. Jens Stroyer and Charlie Turner round out the top 4. And the rest of the field make their way down into turn 10. As dive bomb up the inside, that was by probably one of the Birolart chassis at the back end of the field. As Jens Stroyer looking around the outside. Is he going to get second? Yes, he is. That's a great move. Went round the outside of the 811 through turn 12, kept the power down, shifted up the gears, had the traction and the pull, got the side draft, and Stehoer was powerless to do anything about it. That now gives a little bit of motivation to the 803 from the United Kingdom, Charlie Turner, who's still running behind the pole sitter and former race leader, the 811. But this is all going to come to very, very close proximity when it comes to drivers attempting overtakes. Lehoek has set the fastest lap of the race, and he's over a second up the road. So just under 10.5 minutes remaining on the timer. Lehoek leads. What a story this would be. So Lehoek takes us across the line to complete another lap and is now 1.033 seconds ahead of Jens Stroyer in the 842. Kevin Stehoer, then we've got Charlie Turner, Daniel Tenbach, Siep Kuipers, now has been overtaken by Saman van Scoylen, Jeffrey Fixer, and then Renzo Alibaks and Gil Mertens rounding at the top 10. Jarno Otmir circulating at around about 13th, just behind Tom Brack and Christian de Klein, and is ahead of Enzo Bol. Dion van Verven in 15th, Thierry Del Rey in KZ2 Masters in the 902 is leading that class. Armin Pierle, Mark Verhoeven, Nina Pothoff rounding at the top 19, and rounding at the top 20, Cedric Collars. Oh, must have been a little bit of a drama coming out of turn 12 because a couple of carts went wide. Oh, one cart's lost a wheel, and it's just bounded off from turn. That's a rear wheel, and it's just gone over the guard fencing, and someone is off. That is a Maranello chassis, and that is the 805 of Jeffrey Fixer's out. Fixer is out and walks away dejectively from the kart. And there is Jarno Otmir on your screens, battling away with Enzo Bol in the 855. So Otmir now is ahead of Tom Bracken, who's just behind his good mate and teammate Enzo Bol. Who'd have thought of this? If Enzo Bol does a lot of sim racing, he'll know who Jarno Otmir is, and he'll go like, oh, crikey, I didn't realise he was going to be in front of me. So Jeffrey Fixer told by the one of the team at Team MKG to go to Marshall Post number 1. Marshall Post, I think that's the Marshall Post up towards turn 5. I was trying to remember the number of it. So I would imagine that's going to be Marshall Post 3. So Lehoek leading by 0.6 of a second. We still have 8 minutes plus 1 lap still to go. Things, one of the other things that you've got to consider is with KZ2, there's a lot of force, there's a lot of torque going through these tyres on the rear of the car. So you've also got to take into consideration, you know, what's happening as the track's rubbering in, because we've been using Mojos for the Rotax, and of course with the KZ2s, they're using the LeConte tyres. So sometimes it's about just having a bit more sympathy, reference how much torture you're putting the tyres through. So Arthur Lehouk still leading by about 6/10. We're halfway through the final race of the 2024 Champions Winter Trophy here at Karting Genk. About an hour's drive from Brussels-Zaventem Airport, also just over an hour's drive from Eindhoven in the Netherlands. And, Jens Streuer is closing on in to Arthur Lehouk. And Streuer is a further 1.1 seconds behind this battle. But the 8:09 from France, not a great qualifying. Qualified so Lehouk is still trying to do his level best to keep Jens Streuer at bay for that second place, or for that race win. So we could see possible dramas unfold over the course of the next 6 minutes and 10 seconds. But of course, the biggest drama was Jeffrey Fixer losing wheel off of the Maranello chassis, and then literally going over the fencing just off of the slight hill that we've got just off of turn 6. So now we still have, well, Jarno Opmeer not in the top 10 now. He got overtaken by Enzo Bol, and I think is also more than likely, well, it depends on where Tom Bracken is at the minute. So I'm just waiting to see where the respective drivers are. So Arthur Lehouk leads from Jens Streuer, Kevin Stehoer, Charlie Turner, Sam van Verskuilen. And then we've got the 8:23, Daniel Tenbach. Sam van Verskuilen, Siep Kuipers. Okay, right, just got to read on where Jarno Opmeer is at the moment. Currently 13th behind Christian de Klein. But that was with 10 minutes. That was 5 minutes ago, so I am waiting for the timing to refresh. Ali Bax has dropped behind Christian de Klein, who's motoring a little bit further forward. So the 899 up into 8th position. So this is going to be very, very crucial over the next few moments. Okay, Van Verskuilen is gunning for at least a podium, but he is also, with 4.5 minutes left to go, 2.8 seconds off the race leader after the previous lap. So he's going to try and get past Charlie Turner rather expediently. So he's got to do that sooner rather than later. And Lehouk is keeping that gap between himself and Jens Streuer to about half a second. Turner's still holding on to 4th ahead of Van Verskuilen. So Tenbach, Kuipers, de Klein, Enzo Bol and Tom Bracken now round out the top 10. Top 10 covered by 8.8 seconds. We still have 3 minutes and 33 seconds to go, plus 1 lap. And Lehouk at the moment is just keeping things rather comfortable for himself. He doesn't want to overcomplicate things, as there goes Van Verskuilen up the inside of Turner through turn 12. That's for P4. So the 819 doesn't have far to catch up to the 811, who was one of the dominant forces over the course of the weekend. And then in the final, it hasn't gone quite the way of Kevin Stehoer in the 811 from the Netherlands. Lehouk still leads. Enzo Boll is about a second away from the 8.99 of Christian de Klein. But time is fast running out for everybody. Jeffrey Fixer at one point did have the fastest lap of the race, a 53.034. There are your two race leaders. They still have the opportunity to have a little bit of a battle coming towards the end of the race. But who is it going to be? Who is going to take the opportunity of going to the Dutch KZ National Championship starting in 2 weeks? That won't include any tyres, but that'll be a full paid season entry over multiple rounds, which will end on early November, I think November 3rd here at Genk. So the season starts and ends at Genk for Chrono Karting. So the timer continues to run down eventually to 0. And it's been an absolute pleasure seeing these KZ2 karts in action. Top speeds of around 160 kilometers an hour, 6-speed shifter karts, 0 to 100 kph in about the best part of 3.5 seconds. And they are absolutely brutal. Leaders now down the Europolon as we have 1 minute and 10 seconds still to go on the timer, plus 1 lap. And it's been a measured performance from the man out in front, Arthur Lehoux from France, who came from 15th on the grid to take the win in Heat 1 and fired a warning shot across the bow. His work in the Super Heat was exemplary, and in that way, he put himself in the best position possible. Not on the front row, but the row behind. And Koen van Ginkel saying, come on Jens, come on, let's get him. And there is the battle for the final step of the podium. Sam van Verskuilen trying to close in on Kevin Stahauer for 3rd place. So it's 8.19 versus 8.11. Charlie Turner is being closed in on by Daniel Tenbach in the number 823 as the timer now counts down. And it hits 0. Yellow flags into turn 10. As we have got one kart being pushed down into the pit lane. And that is the 810 that is out. We're on to the final lap. That's René de Bruyker. As all stumble from Arthur Lehoux. Oh, dearie me, he was 3.7 tenths of a second ahead of Jens Troyer. And then it nearly fell apart. Of one of the places at Karting Genk you do not want to have a big drama at is at turn 2. But Lehoux has got to hang on. Troy is going to try everything. He's going to try and throw the book at the Frenchman in front. Down into turn 10. 2 more turns to go. Lehoux defends. Troyer starts to try and attack. This is where he's going to wind up. Troyer to the outside, heading into the final corner on the final lap. He's going to look for the over-under. Is he going to get it? They're going to be nearly wheel-to-wheel. Lehoux wins the final. Lehoux going to compete in karting in the Dutch National Championship by a whisker. 91 thousandths at the flag. Arthur Lehoux, félicitations, mon ami. Well done. Brilliant job by the man from France, Williams eSports driver, folks. Yes, I said it. I've worked with the man on a multitude of occasions. Great guy, always smiling. And there you go. Provisionally, your 2024 Champions Winter Trophy KZ2 winner is from France. Arthur Lehoux takes the win in the 8.09 by next to nothing, less than a tenth of a second. And the first sign, the first glimpse of me thinking, possibly, maybe Lehoux's got a chance. And he showed that in Heat 1 yesterday. So just waiting for the results to come in, and we'll find out who will be our provisional KZ2 Masters champion. So there we go. Artur Hoek takes the win by 91 thousandths of a second ahead of Jens Troyer, with Kevin Stahoa rounding out the top three. Sam van Verskeulen, not too far away from the podium, ends up fourth ahead of Charlie Turner. Daniel Tenbach, Zeep Kuipers, Christian de Klein, Enzo Bol, Tom Bracken, Gil Mertens, Renzo Alibax, Jarno Opmeer, Dion van Verven, Nina Pothoff rounds out the top 15. And it is Thierry Del Rey that takes the provisional win in KZ2 Masters. And there are the rest of the results. Mark Verhoeven, Cedric Collers, William Klooster, Mickey Bertram, Rune de Broeke out with 3 laps to go. Jeffrey Fixer with a rogue wheel, retired with 12 laps to go. And Dirk van Silftout out before the start.